this is Trevor reporting for Winnipeg Alternative Media, and today I want to talk to you about an idea that came up to use genetically modified mice to stop the spread of Lyme disease. And when I read the story, it reminded me of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and how Master Splinter, which was a rat, he was mutated, and Kevin Esvelt, assistant professor at MIT, he wants to genetically modify mice to keep them from spreading the Lyme bacterium to ticks, which in turn affect people. And the mice will be modified using the gene editing technique CRISPR, and the first experiment could happen on Nantucket Island. And Nantucket, they have a high Lyme infection rate, and the idea of using these genetically modified mice to combat Lyme disease in Nantucket Island has come up. And the island had the highest rate of Lyme of any county in the US from 1992 to 2001, and their third place from 2002 to 2006, according to government data. And if this experiment goes through, tens of thousands of mice will be modified and released, and it might be the first CRISPR gene-edited animal released into the wild. This experiment, though, would be years away, and Kevin Esvelt presented the idea to the Nantucket Board of Health, and also in attendance was scientists and residents who seemed to be favorable of the idea. And Kevin Esvelt, he said that we were considering deliberate alteration of the local environment, and Esvelt, he plans to focus his work on the white-footed mouse, which is a host for Lyme-carrying ticks. And ticks bite the mice and pick up the bacteria and then transmit them to other mice and humans. Stopping the spread between the mouse and ticks could break the cycle of transmission and stop Lyme disease. Esvelt and his team, they first need to find the genes that prevent some mice from transmitting the Lyme bacterium. They would then modify mice with multiple copies of those genes, and a population of resistant mice could be established. And Esvelt, he predicts it would take at least a year to have an effect on the tick populations and the infection rates. And he said that the experiment could first be done on an uninhabited island, and then scaled to an inhabited island, perhaps Martha's Vineyard or Nantucket, depending on community preferences. And his presentation showed these GMO mice might arrive on an uninhabited island in 2020, and in Nantucket in 2023, and over 100,000 mice might be needed, and groups of 20,000 to 40,000 released every 2.5 months. And if this experiment goes through and is a success, it might lead to a further spread of these GMO mice, and they may use the more controversial genetic engineering procedure known as a gene drive, which forces a genetic trait to spread throughout the entire population. And the health board's chair said that the lab work should continue, but that any decisions beyond that are still up in the air, and no one has made any final decisions. Malcolm McNabb said, "We're not going to object to him doing his lab work, but we're a long way from putting his mice on the island." And I myself, I hope that this experiment doesn't go through, as we have already witnessed the dangers of self-replicating organisms with the GMO mosquitoes that were released in Brazil in 2012. And the Zika virus is now spreading all over and appears to have been caused by the release of these genetically modified mosquitoes. And Zika outbreaks have occurred in the same epicenter where these GMO mosquitoes were released. The Aedes aegypti mosquito subspecies that carries both the Zika virus and dengue was the type targeted with genetic engineering, and the genetic engineers running the experiment failed to consider the impact of antibiotics in the environment. And the male modified mosquitoes are only supposed to be released into the wild, as they'll mate with their unaltered female counterparts. And once the offspring is produced, the genetic switch is supposed to kick in and kill the larvae before it reaches breeding age. That is if the antibiotics, such as tetracycline, is not present. And Brazil, they're the third in the world for its use of tetracycline in animals intended for human consumption, and tetracycline causes the mosquitoes that are supposed to die off to survive and reproduce. So we now have these GMO mosquitoes biting humans and injecting them with the Zika virus that's now causing horrific mutations in head and brain formation in kids. And the Zika virus has been around for over 7 years and has never been linked to microcephaly. So perhaps there was something with this genetic manipulation of the mosquitoes that caused the Zika virus to mutate as well, which is now causing microcephaly. And Mother Nature will not behave the way scientists want, and it doesn't take orders from anybody, and life will always seem to survive in ways that scientists never seem to fathom and think of. And I wanted to know what all you think about this story and your opinions and thoughts. And thanks for watching, everybody. Take care. Bye.